Hey guys, what's going on? Just making another video. My name's Justin. I'm starting up a YouTube channel here. Um, and I got a few things I want to talk about. Uh, some of the things I'm going to talk about on this episode is going to be uh, a little bit about YouTube, but mostly about schizophrenia and my dog Seamus, who passed away. Um, And I think it's going to be an important topic to talk about with schizophrenia. But basically, I'm starting up a channel. It's got motorcycle content, RC content, schizophrenia content, and it's going to end up having carnivorous fish tank content. And I'm not having a whole lot of luck with my YouTube channel. Um, People seem to be tuning off after about 6 minutes of viewing. Um, so I don't know what that means. I don't know what I have to do. I have looked online on YouTube, and there's a lot of schizophrenics doing YouTube videos that are successful. I mean, they're getting big time views, and they're just basically talking about their illness and stuff like that. And I'm doing the same thing, but I'm not lucking out. You know, I guess I'll have to chalk it up to experience, in time doing it. Because I'm just starting out. But basically, a little bit about myself. I'm a retired master plumber of 10 years. I stopped working when I turned 30, came down with schizophrenia, and now I'm 40. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the nightmare of schizophrenia. What I went through with schizophrenia, it was just a nightmare. It was like going to hell. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that during this episode. Um, but basically, um, I had a specific condition that made me come down with schizophrenia at age 30 because it's usually diagnosed in the teens or early 20s. Um, and it didn't happen for me like that. It happened when I turned 30 because I got addicted to painkillers. The painkillers sent my brain wacky, and then I ended up with schizophrenia. So let that be a warning to anybody with schizophrenia out there. Do not take painkillers. If you get addicted to them, it's not going to be good for your brain. But basically, um, I basically went through an absolute nightmare with schizophrenia. I woke up one day and thought I was in hell. I couldn't decipher the difference between hell and reality. Um, just so you know, I have schizophrenia really bad. I got a bad case of schizophrenia. But you wouldn't know it by talking to me because I'm on good medicine and I respond well to medicine. Not all schizophrenics respond well to medicine like I do. Um, I've been in the mental hospitals. Schizophrenics range from being like me and not knowing if I've got schizophrenia or not by talking to me. And then there's people who can't take care of themselves. They're so far gone that they have to be in a mental hospital and have everything taken care of for them. So there's a wide range of schizophrenia. Um, and no two schizophrenics are alike. They're all a little bit different with the symptoms they have. But basically, I'm going to talk about the nightmare I went through and how important it was for me to have a canine on my side. my dog Seamus. He was my canine, and he was my partner in crime. And he meant a lot to me. Um, I'm going to try and show you pictures of him and some videos during this episode. Um, but basically, um, the nightmare I went through was real bad. You know, at age 30, I got diagnosed with schizophrenia, but I didn't want to take the medicine because all the medicine for schizophrenia is very uncomfortable for the first 2 months. Um, so I could never get on antipsychotic medicine long enough for it to help. So I was in my early 30s. I was taking medicine. I was getting court ordered to take medicine. And then I'd get out of the hospital and I wouldn't take it. Then I'd get hospitalized again, get back on medicine. All this jumping around is screwing your brain up. You got to choose to take schizophrenia medicine and stick with it. Um, but basically, the nightmare that I went through was when I was in psychosis, in schizophrenia. So when I turned 30, I fell into psychosis. And that's basically an abyss. You don't know what's up from down. You don't know where to go. Um, that's psychosis. So I was just basically, for 4 or 5 years, just completely gonzo. I could hold a conversation with you, but the reasons for why I say the things I say uh, were schizophrenic. So, I was really bad in psychosis. It was a nightmare. I cannot put into words enough how bad I had it. Um, so, in this time, I became suicidal. And the only thing that kept me alive was that dog, that canine. Seamus was his name. And I went through hell. And Seamus brought me back from hell. Um, I had, if I didn't have the family support that I had, I don't know where I'd be. Because my family the whole time was trying to get me on medicine, and I wouldn't take it for like 5 years. And all that damage in my brain stayed. I got what they call negative effects of schizophrenia. It's all the bad stuff you don't want. So, you know, I guess I don't really know what to say about it. Um, I was going through for about 5 years hell. And it's hard to explain. I'm trying to find my words to explain psychosis. But basically, I was trying to kill myself. Um, I was trying to commit suicide. Um, I was begging my mom to get a shotgun so I could kill myself with it. It was just every waking minute a nightmare. I was just trying to get out of it with suicide. And it was like that for like 5 years. I wouldn't take my medicine. So, um, Seamus came to me when I was a plumber during my 20s. I was a high-end plumber. We weren't cheap to call, but we serviced the whole area. If you needed something in a hurry, a plumbing problem, you called us. Um, and we did 24-hour emergency service, and it was a good company. Um, I had actually done so well for myself in the plumbing trade that my old boss let me take my dog to work with me. And Seamus came to work with me every day. He would. We were sitting in a Mercedes diesel Sprinter van. It was a brand new Mercedes, and he let me take my dog in the truck. Um, and Seamus rode with me, plumbing all the time. But what you have to realize with Seamus is um, he was bought from a pet store in Fall River, Massachusetts. And he was so cute and attractive uh, that he got picked up by this girl. And she had to work every day, and she left Seamus home alone by himself. And then when she'd get home, she'd tie him up outside. All he wanted to do was spend time with her. That's all he wanted to do, and he couldn't get it. So he broke off his leash one day when she tied him outside and went gallivanting around downtown Newport, Rhode Island. It's like a ritzy, old-fashioned Naval War College town. And he went gallivanting around town. And then he realized he had gotten lost and he couldn't find his way home. So he reached out to somebody on the street and went up to him and said, "Please help me." And he's got the chip. He had the chip in his neck. So they found his owner and called her, and he went back home. Well, this happened again, and she had had enough. I don't know what he must have done. I don't know if he tore her couch up, because he tore my couch up. But he must have tore her couch up or something, because when he went gallivanting around town again, he got lost again. And he ran up to one of our secretaries and said, "Please help me." And she knew it immediately. He was looking for help. So she brought him to her house, and she called the Potter League. The Potter League takes all unwanted animals here in our town. So the Potter League called her and said, "We have your dog." And she said, "You can keep him. I don't want him anymore." So he was locked up, and I walked in there. The secretary told me about him, and she knew I was looking for a dog. So she found him, brought him to the Potter League, and she told me about him. When I walked in there and saw him, he was upset. He was just sitting there staring at the wall. He wouldn't even look at anything. He was just sitting there staring at the wall. He was so beside himself. But he was the cutest little dog. He's an Australian cattle dog, blue heeler. So he's a very smart dog. And I adopted him right away. And I brought him to work with me. And when I took him home for the first time, he got in my truck, and then I took him home. And as soon as he got into the living room, he crapped right on the living room floor, because he knew immediately he was screwed. He would never see her again, and he knew it. And he became depressed. Like, he was so happy to be with me, and when I took him to work, he knew it was that time of day that he was getting to go, and he was so happy. He was so happy to go to work. And though he didn't want to leave me, he still missed his previous master. So he was all bent out of shape, but he was happy to go to work with me. And he would keep his eye on me as long as he could. I'd walk into the customer's house and he'd watch me walk in. And then when I'd walk out, I'd see him in the truck staring at the door. So he wouldn't even take his eyes off me. He didn't want to lose me. He loved me so much. I'll never have another dog like Seamus. And he got me through hard times with schizophrenia. I may not even be alive if it wasn't for him. I had to be alive to take care of him. I couldn't leave his side. So I stuck through hard times with schizophrenia because of him. So that's why I think it's important for schizophrenics to maybe get a dog or something, or a pet, because it keeps you connected. I've got some pictures in my computer. I'll try and show you. I'm starting up this YouTube channel and I'm just getting all the technology together. I haven't got all of it yet. And I got to get everything together. I got to get an editing program and stuff like that. So it's going to take a minute for me to get going with YouTube. But I got to figure out a way to keep people tuned in. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, because they're all checking out after 5 minutes of view time. I checked out the analysis on YouTube on my computer, and the majority of people are tuning out after 5 minutes. So I guess it must be boring or something. But that's basically what I wanted to talk about. Is if you do have schizophrenia, it could be a good blessing to get a dog, a smart dog, because they'll be your companion for the rest of their life. And you'll want to be there with them. So, I don't know what else there is to say about it. I'm now stabilized on antipsychotic medicine, and things are going pretty good for me now. So I've gotten through hell, and I've come back, and everything's going pretty good. So that's about it for this moto vlog. Other than that, take care.
My friends think doing this at my age is scary. And I say it's not if you protect yourself. What is scary? Pneumococcal pneumonia. It's a serious disease. My doctor said the risk is greater. Now that I'm over 50!
Just one dose of the Prevnar 13 vaccine can help protect you from pneumococcal pneumonia, an illness that can cause coughing, chest pain, difficulty breathing, and may even put you in the hospital. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults 18 and older to help prevent infections from 13 strains of bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. You should not receive Prevnar 13 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. If you have a weakened immune system, you may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most common side effects were pain, redness and swelling at the injection site, limited arm movement, fatigue, headache, muscle pain, joint pain, less appetite, vomiting, fever, chills, and rash.
Get this one done.
Ask about Prevnar 13 at your next visit to your doctor's office or pharmacy.